what do you do for a living to sustain this lifestyle?
OnlyFans. So I'm Oliver. I'm from Estonia. Been nomading for 3 years.
And what's your story? Why did you want to become a digital nomad? How did you get into this lifestyle?
Guys, I want to go travel on my own.
How much does it cost you to live this lifestyle? And if you don't mind sharing, how much do you bring in per month on average? All right, we'll just start off with a little introduction, name, age, where you're from, and maybe a tiny bit about yourself.
So I'm Oliver. I'm from Estonia. Been nomading for 3 years. I started 2020 from Southeast Asia. So managed to travel to Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Malaysia, and then COVID hit. So I got stuck in Malaysia for half a year. Then I actually realized that this is a pretty cool lifestyle, and I started nomading ever since. So it's been like 3 years. I've been to 27 different countries in that 3 years.
But yeah, you have a lot of digital nomad experience, and you are very active in the digital nomad community. So I'm excited for this conversation. So how long have you been a digital nomad, and what does being a digital nomad mean to you?
So yeah, I've been nomading for 3 years. A digital nomad for me, like, it's basically just meet somebody who's working remotely and travels around from one place to another. I guess some people have the definition that you stay in one place for, let's say, maybe like a few months or maybe like a few weeks. But for me, it's just you work remotely and yeah, you just go with the flow and see wherever the wind takes you, right?
Nice. And what has living this lifestyle meant to you personally?
I've just experienced so many things in the last 3 years. Well, I've been a digital nomad compared to most of my life. So you meet so many people, you get so many experiences, you taste so many wonderful different dishes in different countries. You see so many beautiful nature parks everywhere. So you experience a lot.
And what do you do for a living to sustain this lifestyle?
OnlyFans. No, I work in tech, so I work more on the infrastructure side, like cloud engineering, data engineering, things like that. I've been doing that for, I think, 10 years now, something like that. And yeah, I started working remotely like 3 years ago in one company, and then been doing that ever since. Before that, I was just working in offices in Estonia, but in the last 3 years, I've been just working remotely.
And what does it take to get in that position? What was your journey getting to where you are career-wise?
Just find a remote job. That's pretty much it. I would say, like, usually the average digital nomad that you meet are going to be more like on the older side, maybe like late 20s or 30s. Mostly it's because like they're more established in their careers. If you're like somebody who's just starting your career, it can be pretty tricky to work remotely, because you kind of need maybe a little bit more guidance from the people. And if you're like in close proximity, it's just easier to learn whatever profession you're learning. But if you're already like more senior, you already know how things work, you know how to communicate, you know how the different company processes work, then it's just easier to do it remote in some ways. Remote work is still hard because collaboration is more difficult and the time difference can be difficult, but it's just a bit easier if you already like know how things work, right? Whatever your profession might be, like marketing or software engineering or whatever it might be, right?
Did you have to do any like training? Did you go to school to do this? Or what was the lead up in order to get your first job?
So I went to university to study computer science. That being said, like if you work in tech, I think it can be useful to have a like higher education, but it's not necessary. You can always like let's say you work from a boot camp or learn on your own. It depends on your needs. But for remote work, like it doesn't mean you need to have like actual like higher education for that, right? You can do whatever. Like during my like 3 years of nomading, I met so many people who have been doing things that are not like tech work, right? So you can do like marketing. It's very easy to learn nowadays with all the free online content that you can see. I met people who are doing real estate investments. I met YouTubers who do like financial dating, whatever content for YouTube for like the South American markets. I met people who to life coaching, dating coaching, all sorts of things. So there's so many possibilities. So people have figured out the way how to turn that work into a remote work.
And what's your story? Why did you want to become a digital nomad? How did you get into this lifestyle?
So it was kind of like an accident. So 4 or 5 years ago, I was living in Estonia. I was in a bad relationship, but that I didn't really like to live there, and I wanted to finish the relationship. So I wanted to move somewhere else. I wanted to move to Japan because that felt like a pretty exotic place. And there was this one company that hired me. So it was like an Estonian Japanese startup, and they kind of promised me when I joined the company that if I joined them, then I will be able to live in Japan. But the company was financially not doing very well. That came out later. And it wasn't possible for them to sponsor the visa, or it wasn't really feasible to move to Japan. And I was like, you guys, I want to go travel on my own. So 2020, beginning of 2020, I went to Southeast Asia. So I decided I would just work remotely there. And then COVID happened, and I actually realized that, this is actually a pretty good life, right? So everybody's stuck in Europe. It's the winter. It's pretty miserable. And I'm here in Malaysia, in the Paradise Island. Everything's way cheaper. There's so many things you can do. So I just realized that, yes, this is what I want to do. So I kind of by accident became a digital nomad, and I just realized that this is actually a pretty cool lifestyle, and it's actually really easy to do. On the way, I also met so many people who have been doing it for 10 plus years. So they're the originals, the OGs. One guy that I met on the Nomad cruise, and we can get into the Nomad cruise later as well. One guy is 50 plus, and he left Germany when the Berlin Wall fell. So he has been nomading ever since. He speaks I think 7 or 8 languages pretty well. He's working remotely, and then he's I think into 100 different countries or something like that. I might be wrong, but I think he's done a lot and seen a lot.
Yeah. Amazing. What do you love most about being a digital nomad?
Just the experiences and the people you meet. I think mentioned before, I've done more things in the last 3 years than I think maybe most of my life combined, right? So if you're in your country, in your city, you're just doing the same things all over. You might have a good life, but just if you travel around and meet so many people, then it's always really interesting, right? You get quite many experiences. So that's I think for me just the experiences and the people you meet on the way.
For sure. Give me a few of your favorite experiences that you've had. Maybe favorite places, favorite trips, favorite experiences you've had since you became a digital nomad.
So a year and a half ago, I did the Nomad Safari. So this is from the same people who do the Nomad Cruise and Nomad Base. So we flew to South Africa, to Johannesburg, and then we did the safari from Johannesburg to Kruger National Park, to Botswana, a few national parks there, to Zimbabwe and Zambia, and we ended up in Victoria Falls, which is one of the natural wonders of the world. And then we flew to Cape Town. We stayed there for 2 months for the conference, and it was just amazing. It's an amazing country with lots of things to see, and there's so much fun. Every day was interesting, and the safari as well. You see things that you would never see anywhere else. Anywhere else, you might see elephants running across the highway, or hyenas or lions or things like that. So it was a really cool experience.
Amazing.
Another thing that comes to mind was just being in Malaysia for half a year during COVID times. So it was also a really unique experience that you wouldn't really I think get anywhere else. Some people were on a farm in half a year in Malaysia. They didn't have any internet or any outside contact because of COVID and things like that. I think it can be a little bit tricky to kind of put these things into some kind of top 3 because you do so many things, and it's kind of difficult to put these things in an order, or some kind of this is the best thing and this is the worst thing, right? So
Everything's kind of amazing in their own
exactly.
way. Do you want to talk a little bit about Nomad Cruise, since you mentioned that a few times?
So the Nomad Cruise is a really cool experience. So it's basically a cruise ship full of digital nomads. So I did the Nomad Cruise last year. So it was from Spain to Brazil. and there's like 400 digital nomads. There's a conference. There's like a conference. There's networking events. There's like lots of networking happening. So it's just a really cool experience. You meet like a lot of people with really cool different experiences. So I found it like really useful. Like for me, so I was working 3 years in this one company. I was kind of like not happy with it. So they were paying me really good money, like really really good money. But I was kind of thinking, okay, maybe we should do something else. But I went to the Nomad cruise. I met so many people who are like really inspirational, like who have their own businesses or doing things that I wouldn't really imagine that you could make money out of that. And I felt like, okay, I need to do something. So I felt really inspired. So in that sense, I'm not making any money out of that, but it's like just a really cool experience that if you're kind of thinking about doing it like a nomad lifestyle, it's a good way how to meet some people, get some ideas.
Yeah. How much does it cost you to live this lifestyle?
Well, it depends on your location, right? So before I quit my job, I made like over 100,000 euros per year. Right now, I don't make that much. I'm kind of poor, but it depends where you are. Like if you're in Argentina, then you can live here very comfortable. In let's say Buenos Aires, you have like a really good lifestyle, and you don't spend that much money compared to like if you're in the US or somewhere like Switzerland or whichever like high cost living country. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the whole like the nomad journey, right? So you go to like a more like a low cost country, and then you try to get your business or yeah, trying to get your business working, right? So you can just like live there, and you don't maybe make as much as your corporate job, but you can have like a very comfortable life there, like go to the beach or go to the mountains for hiking and things like that, right?
Definitely. If you were to average you personally over the last 3 years, how much would you estimate like a month that you spend?
So I would say maybe like 2,000, 3,000 euros, depending. It depends on like if you want to do lots of things. I usually do a lot of things like excursions or weekend trips and things like that, and it can kind of add up. But if you want, you can I think manage with like 1,500 euros dollars. I think that's really feasible.
Definitely. And if you don't mind sharing, how much do you bring in per month on average?
So before I quit my job, I was making like over 10,000 euros per month. But now like it's way less. I'm like poor. Well, I'm not poor. I have like plenty of like money saved up and things like that. But it's like the income was pretty good before, and now it's like I'm just trying to focus on building other income streams, like other like businesses. So not doing like a day-to-day job, but more like having like some passive incomes for that.
Right. So you've saved money up, and now you're trying to move to something that you're maybe more passionate about or like doing more.
Yeah. One thing I'm working on is AI language learning app. So this hopefully is going to be like I don't think it's going to be like the next $1 million app or anything like that. But it's more like if it can produce like enough income for like the month that you can live comfortably, that's a really good thing. You just keep the cost low, and hopefully it makes like enough money that you can have like a comfortable life. So that's one thing. The other thing is also doing like a consulting. So just doing the same thing that I was doing for my day job, but doing it as a consultant, and building also like a blog and YouTube, which is more like a marketing funnel for the consulting business, right? So these are the two things I'm kind of working on right now.
Very cool. And how many hours would you say you work a week on average?
So I was working 40 hours per week, at least like ideally, but in reality like way less. Right now I would say maybe like 20 hours, something like that, so not that much.
Sure. Yeah. And what does a typical day look like for you? If there is one, maybe you can describe your ideal day as a digital nomad.
So I usually wake up, depending on the day, maybe like 8 in the morning or 10 or 11. I work a little bit, have some coffee. Then lunchtime, I usually go to the gym. I try to aim for the sweet spots where there's like not that many people on the gym, so you can kind of do things more quickly. And then I go back home, maybe eat something. I work until it's more or less like nighttime, and then for the evening, I maybe do something. It can be whatever. It can be, I don't know, maybe some dance lessons, or it can be going out with friends, or going to eat something, or maybe going to the language exchange event. So it depends on the day. But overall, it's a pretty chill life, right? So there's always something to do when you're never like really bored. So
Nice. All right. How often do you eat out as a digital nomad?
quite often, like almost every day. But usually, if I stay in like a Airbnb or co-living, then I try to also go to the grocery store, buy let's say some eggs, some bread, and make the breakfast my own, or maybe the lunch. But usually, the dinner is always like either food delivery or going out to like a restaurant and things like that. So it's quite often.
And what's the hardest part about living this lifestyle?
This is a good question. And maybe just the fact that if you go to like a new place, then you always need to get used to the local specifics. So you want to go to the gym, you have to find like a gym. You want to wash your laundry. Maybe you don't have a laundromat somewhere nearby. You have to figure out where to wash your laundry. Maybe the internet doesn't work, or how do you get the SIM card? And there's lots of things you need to do to have like a normal life here. But at the same time, like when you do the nomading lifestyle for a while, then you get really good at that, right? So you kind of like develop the techniques and the habits of solving these problems pretty quickly, right? You're not even like afraid about some of these things. You just always like know that okay, if I need a SIM card, the airport is a pretty good option. You want to find like a restaurant, Google Maps is usually a pretty good option. Yeah, things like that.
For sure.
But it's just a little bit like a mental drain, always to get your life in order in the new place, especially if you're going from one place to another one, like maybe in 1 week or 2 weeks, right? So it's a pretty short amount of time, and you're trying to also like meet people. You're trying to get your work done, go to the gym. So you're gonna have like lots of things going on, but you don't have like enough time to do everything, right? So that's I think maybe the biggest issue, at least for me.
Yeah, there's definitely some overhead every time you
Yeah.
go to a new place.
Yeah.
Where are you going next? What are your current travel plans?
So my current plan is to fly tomorrow to Bariloche for 1 week. Then 1 week to El Calpante, and then going back to Buenos Aires for 3 weeks. Then going to Valparaiso for 1 month, doing the Wi-Fi tribe there. Also would recommend the Wi-Fi tribe. Really cool. Know some cool people. Can set you up. And then after Valparaiso, I don't really know. I will probably come back to Buenos Aires, but almost over. Let's see.
And as a digital nomad veteran, such as yourself, what is your biggest piece of advice for people that are interested in living this lifestyle?
Like if you really are thinking about it, then just go for it. Like I think finding a remote work is easier than ever before. It's pretty easy if you go to like places like Buenos Aires or maybe Southeast Asia or like Bali or something like that. So you have like really comfortable life. It's will be cheaper than the US or lots of places in Europe. And you can always like see like if you can find like a job that is like remote work, or you can, let's say, try to do your own business. Maybe you are good in writing, or maybe you're good in software development, or maybe you're good in marketing. You can turn that into like your own business. You can do it as a freelancer, and you can sell it to like your customers. There's also some pretty big like tax benefits as well. Like if you set up your company set up in a way that you can optimize for your taxes, so you can also save some money from there as well, right? So it's just a matter of taking the leap and seeing where you get, right?
For sure. And learning on the way, or
Exactly.
learning as you
That's
go.
That's the main thing.
Anything else you'd like to add or share?
Like if you're thinking about the nomad lifestyle, but you're like kind of like unsure if that's for you, you can almost try the Wi-Fi tribe. That's I think a good first step. Would recommend that. Had a good time here. The other option that you can do is also try the Nomad cruise. You meet some pretty cool people there. I get some new ideas, and after that you can, let's say, move to like a place for maybe 1 month or 2 months, or see however you want, and go from there. But you have to be careful. It's a very addictive lifestyle. It's very difficult to give up. So but just try it. You're gonna have a good time, by the way.
And where can people find you or support what you're doing? Anything you'd like to plug or share?
I'm not really plugging or selling anything. I mean, I'm just doing it for fun. So I don't really have anything to plug. But I mean, if you guys want to follow me on social media, that's pretty cool. Like, put the Instagram somewhere here, like here. But if you guys want to stay in touch or ask any questions, then I'm here. Open book.
Well, thank you, Oliver. Thank you for talking with me and chatting with people and sharing your experience. It's nice to talk to someone that has such good digital nomad experience.